Good morning to all of the simple folk out there. Welcome to another edition of the Fantasy Simpletons, a fantasy football show. I am your host, Kyle Fridland. Join with me, as always, is my brother and co-host, Jacob Fridland. How are we doing on this fine day?
Yeah.
Doing all right?
Doing well, man.
Doing well.
Excited.
I saw Naked Gun the other day.
Yeah.
It's a very good movie. It's very, very funny.
I saw that.
Because you always think of Liam Neeson as like the Taken guy.
Mm-hmm.
And you think of him in the action movies. But I've seen him in like slivers of like cameos and comedies. He's so good in this movie.
Really?
Genuinely, I highly recommend to anybody that hasn't
wow.
seen it yet.
Yeah.
So we've already talked about the AFC. We've been breaking down all of the AFC division by division. But guess what? We're only halfway there. And looking good now. Nothing's gonna change the way. We're halfway there. We still gotta talk about the NFC.
Yep.
But even before we get to that, let's do some news here real quick. Some of the things that have broken down as of late. Yep. The first thing we want to talk about is Noah Fant. We talked about Noah Fant. He has now been released from the Seahawks for the last few days. He already found a new team in the Cincinnati Bengals. So it's going to be a little bit of more competition there. He's going to be matched up with Mike Gesicki. We're going to see if there's anything he could really add to that tight end room and maybe another weapon for Joe Burrow to have another top season.
Yeah.
And that's not the only Bengal news. We also have Zach Moss recently released of the Cincinnati Bengals as well, which opens things up for not just Chase Brown, but Taj Brooks to get that backup running back role.
Yeah. He could be a sneaky handcuff in case anything happens, because that role's pretty much wide open.
Yeah.
They have Samaj P. Ryan.
They do have Samaj P. Ryan.
So,
but it's like, it's Samaj P. Ryan though.
Yeah, well, that dude's like 33
whatever. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I am a huge Chase Brown fan, so there is a part of me that's kind of like hoping he has a little bit of a breakout, but like for Taj Brooks, but not too much for Taj. I kind of want to keep I kind of want my guy to keep all his targets.
Mm-hmm.
I think the last big thing we should mention is the Baltimore Ravens. Isaiah Likely recently got a surgery for a broken bone in his foot. They said he was projected to be out for 6 weeks. This could extend into the season. So chances are he can miss 1 or 2 games. And, if you like Mark Andrews, at least in the early point of the season.
Mark Andrews train, baby.
He's going to get a lot of work.
Let's go.
Going to be worked down like a mule.
Yep. How it used to be. Good old Mark Andrews.
Oh, the good old days of Mark Andrews. Remember when he did stuff? He could still do something this season, but outside of touchdowns, it's tough to think. All right, enough chatter. Let's go. Yeah. Let's go straight into the NFC, starting with America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. And we got to start America's team with America's quarterback, the ever so much beloved, definitely not divisive, Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Dak Prescott going into this portion of the season? Do you think he's underrated or overrated?
I think he's underrated. I think, he was out last season for a little while. And they had, who did they have? Who was their backup? Now they have Joe Milton. They had
Cooper Rush.
Yeah. And so Cooper was starting like half the season, it felt like.
He got injured, I think it was around week 10. So it was at least almost half the season that Dak Prescott was out.
The latter half of the season, yeah. So I don't know. I think if he stays healthy, he could be great this year. Um, and with you know with the addition of George Pickens, um, standing on the other side of CD on the line, I think that should be great for Dak. And it really could really open this offense up a bit. So yeah, I think he's a great QB one to have this year. I mean I wouldn't be mad if I had Dak as my QB one. So
Yeah. He's been
huh,
sliding a lot in drafts, and I think he's fallen victim of like the "what have you done for me lately" syndrome. People seem to forget that he was like second in MVP votes just 2 seasons ago.
yeah.
I know last season was a bit rocky. It was not easy, but they've also addressed that somewhat with George Pickens, who we'll talk about in just a second here. Uh, but I'm also really high on Dak Prescott this season. I think he will be in the top 10. I think he won't be at the very top like he was a couple years ago, but I think he'll find a middle ground between 2 seasons ago and last season, where he'll be a very solid, reliable QB1.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I think a major part of that is because we can now talk about him. The second big addition that they made to this offense, George Pickens.
Yep.
Because after the Steelers signed DK Metcalf, it felt like, oh, what are they going to do with Pickens? He's a very similar type of player. I didn't think they would want both sides of both DK and George on both sides of the
Right.
offense.
That's what I was thinking. Mhm.
Yeah, so they traded him off to the Cowboys. I personally love this move,
Yeah.
but with a caveat. I love it for Dak.
Mhm.
I'm still on the fence of George. I think it's a good situation for him,
Mhm.
but I'm not 100% sure if the production changes.
Yeah, I think it's tough because um CD's a ball hog, you know.
Yeah.
He's he's got um that chemistry with Dak and I don't see it going down. And that's why CD's been, a top tier dynasty asset for, you know, however many years he's been in the league. So, I think it should be interesting. I think it'll help the offense a lot like, like we were saying having George in, but and he's a 50-50 ball guy. So, he he's a great addition to have. Like, I don't know. I like George. I think a lot of people that I know are high on him
Yeah.
just because Dak is such a pass heavy QB, like sits in the pocket all day and just chucks that ball, to whoever's open. So I could see it being good for George if Dak just has a stellar season. Um, but it is tough when you're in an offense with a big presence wide receiver like CD, you know. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So
That
I
could
don't know.
also be to his benefit too. This is the first time he's been paired with
Sure.
like a true alpha wide receiver. So maybe he leaves George Pickens for a lot more like one-on-one
Yeah.
type of coverage. Maybe it benefits him, maybe not. We'll see in that sense.
Mhm.
Um Real quickly, let's talk about Jake Ferguson here.
Woo.
Now, I've never been a big fan of the Ferg.
Dude,
The Ferg
I love
I'm
the
just
Ferg,
saying
bro.
personally, the Ferg, I think a lot of people just kind of see the Cowboys tight end as like, oh, anyone can fill that role.
Mhm.
And I kind of just see Jake Ferguson as like, just like he's there, but I feel like there could be someone better. And
Yeah.
maybe I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong or not.
I
I need to
mean,
know.
no, I agree. I mean, so he just signed that 4-year contract, right? Which I think speaks volumes to how they want to use him moving forward. His first year really popping off in the league, he was very touchdown dependent in 2023, right? I think that was the first year he kind of
Yeah.
came on the scene, and so yeah, very touchdown dependent. Then last year he had a little bit of a down year, and I think in large part it was because of Cooper Rush starting, you know, later on in the season, but him and Dak just have chemistry, man. And I think when you watch their games, you could see that. Like he likes to go to Jake Ferguson, and Jake's um he's an aggressive tight end. Like he'll go out and get a ball and has some yak potential. So I like him. I'm a little biased though because I've always had him on my on a couple of my dynasty leagues actually.
Yeah.
But I think he's a great middle of the pack, slightly upper middle of the pack tight end. And I think his upside is there um with Dak. So yeah. I mean, that's just me though. But I
Well,
think he's fine player.
well, you are correct. He did sign an extension over the offseason.
Mhm.
Just checked it. 4 year, 52 million, 30 million in guarantees. Got to get that money. You
Yep.
got to get that money. Oh, it
Got it.
keeps going. Got to pause it sometimes. Anyways, no, I also checked over his what he did in 2023. His stats were better than what happened this last season, but not by a huge amount. I
Mhm.
think I always thought the player was more projection. Like people project him to do better than what
Yeah,
I personally see on the field. And
sure.
maybe this will be the season he finally puts it together. But yeah, no touchdowns last season.
Mhm.
He didn't get a single touchdown. And I think that has to be the place where he gets his value if he wants to be one of those upper echelon tight ends. Um,
Yeah, I agree. No touchdowns last year, and the year before he had um it says
he had
5
five
touchdowns.
touchdowns in the previous
So,
year. So not a huge amount, but we'll
not a huge
see.
amount, but great for, his first year, and I think that's why people, yeah, keep projecting him high is because he has that potential on the team,
Amen.
should the team choose to utilize him, so
All right, let's move on from Jake
okay.
Ferguson. We'll save it for the Jake Ferguson pod. We'll
Oh,
put up
yeah.
an episode of just all about Jake Ferguson. Uh,
That'd
I
be
don't
good.
want to talk about the running backs. I don't. They have Javonte Williams that they signed from the Broncos. They have Miles Sanders too, but and I could have put him on
Mhm.
this list, but no. And you can't make me. You can't make me do it. I'm not going to put him there. Uh, and the most, I guess, hype that we're getting, the most intrigue is just from a 5th round rookie in Jaden Blue. But even then, that feels like a few rounds too late for them to pick up a running back for what feels like a very weak and depleted running back roster.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's tough. Tough when you have Javonte and he signed a 1 year, prove it type of deal because last year he didn't do so well
No.
on the Broncos. So yeah, it's tough. And Jaden Blue too, um, 5th round pick rookie. He's got tremendous speed, but I was looking at some of his college tapes, and he's never really been that, 3 down back.
Yeah, he's undersized.
He's very undersized.
He's a small
Yeah.
guy.
Yes, he is. Uh, And so I think he's like 5'8", 5'9". Let's see.
Dude,
5'9", 196. Pretty small.
yeah. And what really makes me mad is that they already had a running back that I feel like was better than what they have now. They had Rico Dowdle last year.
Mm.
And it's not like he was demanding a high asking price. He decided to go to the Panthers to be a backup for $5 million. You couldn't have shelled out $5 million for
I
Rico?
know. No, I
I
liked
know
Rico
he's not like
too.
amazing, but I liked him. I
Hmm.
thought he had value.
Yeah, same here. I think he did fairly well last season.
Yeah.
Fine
Shows the
flex
loyalty they
flex
have.
player. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't really know what they're trying to do here. Um, and I mean, to take it back a step, Javonte was a first round pick, right?
Yeah.
So it's that I think people look at him and see that lingering, like, what if, you know?
What if? Yeah.
What if he just needs to be in a different offense with, um, different coaching staff and different schemes made up for him? Could he be the guy? Maybe. Um, but it's tough. It's tough too because the Broncos had such a good offensive line last
They
year,
were
bro.
they are on paper, Javonte Williams should have done great last season.
Yes. Yeah,
And he was in one of the best situations he could have been in, and they still did bad. So
exactly.
It ain't got no gas in it.
they ain't got no gas. There ain't no gas in this running back group.
Yeah.
I still think they're probably still going to be a good team. I think they'll be around 500, maybe more.
Sure.
I think the offense, but it will be week to week. I think that this is an offense where you have to look at the matchups,
Mhm.
especially with a division this competitive, including last year's dominant Super Bowl champs, the Eagles.
Mhm.
Now, if you look at this depth chart, there is practically no difference outside of AJ Dillon from last season. This is the same offense, the same crew. I guess the first thing I want to talk about here is a player that there's some a little bit of discussion of, is AJ Brown, has he reached his height already? Has he
Mm.
reached like his peak maximum level of how good of a player he is? Because remember when last season was going and people would see him on the sidelines and he'd be reading this book of inner
Mhm.
excellence,
Oh gosh.
which is a hilarious title. Train your mind for extraordinary performance and the best possible life. He was reading this during the game on the sidelines.
Yeah.
The greatest dad they ever had. Apparently, that book sold so well just from that. But it feels like he's a player that's starting to lose a little, not confidence, but it feels like he's trying to get himself back into that mindset again. Do you think
Hmm.
he gets there?
This season, I think he does.
Hmm.
I think he showed that, right, last season. I think for a second there, he was struggling at the beginning of last season, and then he kind of started coming back into his own, and I just think he's one of those guys that is always going to be a consistent threat, um, and yeah, it's just tough. It's tough to count him out, I think, because he's been such an elite player for so long. And I think he's just had small stints where he hasn't um like fully been the guy. I think it's tough to constantly be that number one, you know?
Yeah.
So when you have a down game, it's like, oh, this guy's, you know, 29, 30, almost 30 years old. He's getting out of it. But then, he could have another game, and he did last season. He just had
Yeah.
games where he totally popped off. So I don't think you should count him out. And Yeah,
I
I
I
think
think
he'll always be the number one on the team till he, retires.
yeah, him and Devonte Smith. I feel like they already got extended again as well,
Yeah.
so they're gonna be the 1A and 1B for the foreseeable future,
Mhm.
unless down the line one of them decides they'd rather be traded or something like that. But I think he's more of a victim of circumstance. I think you could argue his biggest enemy last season was Saquon Barkley.
Oh,
With
sure.
Saquon and the tush push, the
Yeah.
running game was so efficient and so well that we see it in the stats. We see it in Jalen Hurts that the passing game took a step back. They didn't rely on it like they needed to. And
Yeah.
it was a run first team that dominated on the ground.
Mhm.
So maybe that's more of the situation of he's stuck in an offense where they're winning and it's
Right.
working so well that maybe they don't see a reason to change right away.
Yeah, I could see that.
I think it's
I
very
like that.
possible.
I like that take. Mhm.
Yeah. I think we could also, if we're talking about Saquon Barkley, um, I mean, what is there to say about Saquon Barkley's season last season? He was easily the number one running back. Is one of the greatest running back seasons we will probably ever see.
Yeah.
Not just in fantasy football, in just football in general.
Oh, yeah.
Um, Now he's probably going to take a step back just from when you reach greatest of all time standards for a season, it's expected to go back a little bit.
Right. He rushed for a little over 2,000 yards, so
Yeah, but
that's
as
pretty
long as he
insane.
stays healthy,
Yeah.
this offense should still revolve around him. It should keep going and keep trucking along the same way as it was before. But AJ Dillon, uh, if Saquon Barkley gets hurt, which he's had injury history in the past, it's currently a competition between AJ Dillon and Will Shipley for the backup job, with currently AJ Dillon standing out as the top backup option. Would you say AJ Dillon is one of the best running back stashes in fantasy right now?
Mhm. I think that would be a hot take. I would not say that.
Hmm.
Is that what you were trying to say? Is that what you're
No,
thinking?
no, no. I was just more sort of
Okay.
leaning in of I
Right.
wanted to get your thoughts on it first.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting conversation because I think that we've seen Saquon get hurt in the past, right? And if they utilize him as much as they did last season, it could easily happen.
Yeah.
Um, and I like AJ Dillon as a backup, you know. Dude's got legs the size of
Legs for
tree trunks.
days. Tree trunk
Bro,
leg.
tree trunk legs, man. Okay.
Yeah.
This guy's crazy. If you've seen his legs, they're like the biggest in the NFL. It's kind of
Got like Groot
ridiculous.
legs.
Yeah. Dude, he doesn't go down. When he was on Green Bay, that was like what he was known for. That's why he stayed like, you know, not even, but in in the running with Aaron Jones
Yeah, it was
on
it
Green
was
Bay.
pretty back and forth for a while.
Yeah, it was for a while, and yeah, for good reason. I think he's a formidable backup for sure. I I did like Will Shipley. He's someone we
Yeah.
don't have up here, but you know, I think he was a fine rookie and young, and I think there's room for growth. But um, yeah, I think AJ clearly steps in here and probably has the advantage over him, just
I
based off his veteran.
Yeah, there's probably a slight advantage.
Yeah,
If worst case scenario happened, I think maybe they would use both because AJ Dillon was kind of used a lot more in a 1-2 punch before, so
yeah,
they might just do it again.
sure.
Uh, as far as anyone else to talk about this team, Jalen and Devontae are kind of very similar to what you expect in previous seasons. I don't think they go up or down. They're kind of in the same area. If you like the player, you take the player. But I think real quickly, we can talk about Dallas Goedert, who I like Dallas Goedert. I've always liked him as a player. I don't think of him as like a big fantasy asset unless one of their receivers got hurt.
Yeah.
He seems to excel every time when there are injuries around him. But when everybody's healthy and everybody's together, he is a bit of an afterthought.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. And, this is a hot take. All right. But I like Jake Ferguson over Dallas Goedert, man.
As a player or just like,
Dude, as a fantasy asset.
oh, you take that back.
No, man.
Oh man. No,
I'm
no, 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 no,
serious.
no.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
I don't know. I think Dallas Goedert's, he's been in the league a lot longer.
Yeah.
But I think it goes back to what you were saying. Like, he is a consistent fantasy tight end, and he's probably more upper echelon than other tight ends, like very draftable guy. But I think that it goes back to what you were saying, man. Like, this team uses so many other things to get ahead, like the tush push, Saquon, Saquon's rushing usage, and then they have two elite wide receivers in AJ and Devontae. So I don't know. I think Dallas is more of a touchdown, like quick, check to see if he's open, maybe pass type player.
Yeah.
But like short yardage guy, for the most part, is what I think. So no, just don't feel like they have much use for him.
I don't know, man. Every time I always think about that playoff game last year when they faced the Packers, and he just gets a 30-yard touchdown by stiff arming a guy, and oh, it was so cool. It was so cool. And every now and then he makes those plays, and it makes me like him. So to each their own.
Yeah,
To each their own. They're sort of in the same tier.
I just don't think the offense revolves around him as much as it used to.
No, not at all.
Yeah, with the things they have going on, but he's a fine tight end.
Yeah.
Draftable guy. Yeah.
Draft most of these offensive players in fantasy. You will not regret it. As long as the tush push is still around, Jalen Hurts will be fine.
Yeah, definitely.
But now we got to talk about a team, and we're going to talk about some contract disputes. Everybody's favorite. With the Washington Commanders, we'll start off with Terry McLaurin. Scary Terry wants money. That's what he's been wanting for years. I think it's well-deserved.
Definitely.
I think he's been, well-deserved. He's been there for years. He's been through the absolute dirt worst that the team has offered him, and this was by far his best season. I think from a loyalty standpoint, he should be paid. But I don't think they want to pay him that type of money because of his age, because they're worried about certain regression. And it has led to him pressing the sort of trade me button. And he has asked for a trade request. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, Jake, how much does this worry you?
Honestly, I'd say like a 3, man.
Yeah,
It doesn't worry me that much.
not really.
I think most people have come to terms with the fact that this happens, with guys like this, guys that are, the team would like literally crumble without. Okay, like contracts are. I feel like they're easy to manipulate, right? And these guys have agents that can just tell them to come out with a statement, right, saying that they're going to trade, and then the team will just it like pushes the team to sign them. So I think it's a ploy, and it would be actually crazy, bro.
I
they got
wouldn't
rid of
believe
him.
it.
No,
It would make no sense.
no sense, bro. And another team would have to pay him so much because he is so good,
He is.
right? His track record is elite
I
on
think the
this
only thing
team.
you would have to look out for him is his track record is great, but he easily provides his best value with a good quarterback, which he
Sure.
hasn't had for the Commanders. So I guess
Yeah.
if there was a trade scenario, it wouldn't be for everybody. Like, I wouldn't put him out there on the Browns, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if he would necessarily return his value. But in this offense,
Mm-hmm.
he's Jaden Daniels' number one.
Yeah.
And you got to make Jaden Daniels happy. You got to make the fans happy. Make the right move. Get it over
Right.
with before it extends into a couple games into the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think with him and Debo, on the same team, that's a nice little receiving core they got. Now
Well,
they have some other guys, but both them on the outside, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, they do have other guys. But if we're talking about Debo right now, let me just say this. Debo has been coming into camp. He's noticeably bigger. And he keeps saying it's muscle.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if I necessarily believe him. They said he was over 240 pounds as a receiver that's supposed to be like a running back, wide receiver, hybrid, gadget player, and he's that weight. I'm not gonna say it, but
He's fat.
I'm, I'm sorry. But it's just, and maybe this is more just projecting because I've never been a big Debo Samuel guy, even at his best.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the last few seasons, it feels like he's sort of stepped down a tier every other season in terms of like viability and really using him.
Mm.
To me, he just comes off as a trick play guy right now.
Yeah.
He's an okay receiver that can do some fun stuff out of the backfield, which, knowing Cliff Kingsbury, that's how he wants to run his offense.
Right.
Cool. I'm sure him with Austin Eckler and Brian Robinson and Jaden Daniels is going to be nightmare for defenses to try to figure out. I think that's what they used him for.
Yeah.
But maybe he's just more of a decoy than an actual top receiving threat.
Totally. But he works so well as like a gadget guy. He produced so well as a gadget dude on the 49ers. So I think it makes sense to use him like that. And I think he can line up on the outside too. And that would take some attention off of Terry maybe. But yeah, I like Debo. I personally don't care to draft him. But that's just me. I have also not really been a Debo guy. I think he's a fine like team player and he produces for the team, but I've never cared for him as a fantasy asset, though he has produced as a fantasy asset, so yeah. It's up to you.
If we're talking about weapons though, Jake, I know you've been waiting to talk about a certain guy for a while.
Shoot.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about Jalen Lane?
Oof. I like Jalen Lane. Rookie out of Virginia, 4th round rookie, I believe. And yeah, no, he seems like a speedy, shifty guy. They have him set right now to be kind of a punt, kick returner specialist, and then they might start throwing him in to the offense. He has been running with the ones.
Been getting some first team work. Way to go, buddy.
Yep. And I don't know, I like him a lot because with Terry and Debo being a little bit older, right? I think it just makes sense that a young guy could come in here, get some work, show what he's got, and then stay here for a while, maybe work his way up.
Yeah.
So I like him a lot. Also Noah Brown is old too, and so that's why I think he could
Hey.
overtake Noah Brown's third wide receiver 3 spot.
Hey, don't disrespect my guy Noah Brown like that.
Yeah, I'm not disrespecting. I like Noah Brown a lot.
I like Noah Brown. I think he was actually when they had De'Ami
He's
Brown
underrated.
and Alama Zaccheaus last year,
Mhm.
and just that like gaggle of wide receivers. Noah Brown was there, and the coaches loved talking about him.
Oh yeah.
I know everywhere he goes, coaches really love him, and I think he was starting to get some leeway. He was starting to make some plays, and then he got hurt.
He was. Yeah.
He was starting to get some like decent looks in production. So
Oh yeah.
I added him as sort of like that's someone that Jalen Lane probably has to beat in
Yeah.
terms of making the first team.
For
But yeah,
sure.
especially if the worst case scenario, if the Terry McLaurin situation extends into the regular season, it's going to force Jalen Lane up the ladder.
Yeah.
And so over time, you've sold me on this idea that Jalen Lane can become
Mhm.
a big time under the radar guy this season.
Definitely. Yeah. And never mention the age of Noah Brown, but he's 29. So like he's a good player and he could win, but it's like, do you really think they're going to sign him and
Oh.
Terry and Debo to, bigger contracts when they're all almost 30 years old? That's just not how the NFL generally works.
Oh, Jake, you
'Cause
don't know the half
decline
of
could
it.
happen.
If we're talking about age, we gotta look at Zach Ertz, 34-year-old tight end,
Yeah.
still kicking, still going, still fighting the fight,
Mhm.
and he had probably one of the better seasons he had in a while
Definitely.
last season.
Yeah.
I think Jaden Daniels, even though they spread a ball around a lot, he found him as a very safe target. And right now, I just checked, he's going as the tight end 18. The 18th tight end drafted in PPR right now. Kyle Pitts is being drafted ahead of Zach Ertz. I think this is a guy you can get
That's
really late in
surprising.
your drafts. He feels like an absolute steal if he does the same production.
Yeah.
I mean, once you hit mid-30s, there's a chance he could just run face first into a brick wall in terms of his athleticism, but
Sure.
if he has sort of the same role he was last season, I mean, he can provide some great value at the tight end position.
What's not to like?
What's not to like other than his age?
Exactly. Definitely not a dynasty guy, but if you're trying to win this year, I like him too, man. Like, ain't nothing wrong with Zach Ertz, bro. He's one of those veteran tight ends that goes out and runs good routes and produces.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think he's got upside this year. Why not? Coming off of a massive year last year. And then, if he starts to decline for whatever reason, gets hurt, I really like Ben Sennett too.
Yes, second
formidable
round tight end.
Yep.
Very, very highly beloved in college.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people liked him coming out of college. Produced really well. Not the fastest guy,
No.
but he is a great route runner. And I haven't really heard anything bad about Sennett. They barely used him last year. But again, that's because Zach Ertz was at the top of his game. So they didn't really, need to use him. But I think as Zach if he starts to decline, Ben Sennett could be a great option to have. So definitely look out for that guy. You never know what could happen.
Yeah, or injury.
Yeah, exactly.
Zach Ertz does have an injury history.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I would think to talk else about the Washington Commanders is Jane Daniels. And we all know Jane Daniels came off his incredible rookie season last year. if you drafted Jaden Daniels in your fantasy draft, you had a great year. You got a massive value. You got a great quarterback.
Definitely.
But don't forget about the dreaded sophomore slump. It has beaten a lot of people in the past. And I'm not saying it's going to happen to Jaden Daniels. But most recent example we've seen is CJ Stroud. And we've seen many other examples in the past of second season. Now that teams are more familiar with you, they might know how to game plan against you better, know how to stop you. Do you see a sophomore slump hitting Jaden Daniels this season? Or do you think it's closer, he's more like he was last season, same as before?
I think that's a good question. I don't see not much in this offense changed, right?
Yeah.
If Terry goes somewhere else, that would be a different story.
Yeah.
And we don't think that's going to happen. So I think I don't see why he couldn't be top tier like he was last year. Best rookie QB, one of the best QBs in the NFL. So I don't really see the decline unless something happens.
Yeah.
But looking like it's going to be the same team they had last year, I could see him doing fairly well. I know he was putting on more muscle this offseason,
Good
which
trope, good trope.
everyone does. Every single sophomore puts on more muscle.
Good trope. Always love that trope.
Yeah. It's great. So I don't know, man. I like him a lot. I feel like he's just one of those guys. It's tough to be low on him. Like, why would you be low on him? He's got everything. He's a huge rushing threat.
Yeah, that's
He's-
probably the biggest game
He
changing
literally looks
factor.
like a more accurate Lamar Jackson. Accurate throwing.
Oh.
I'm just saying, man.
Ooh, calling
Dude,
it.
I'm just saying, like, he's legit. Okay.
He is
I
legit.
think. Yeah.
I would argue for Lamar Jackson's accuracy, personally, but I think you're on the right track of talking about him in that way. I do think his dual threat ability could have a great chance of minimizing any possibility of a sophomore slump. And yeah, for him, it's probably just business as usual.
Yeah. I'd say.
And then the running back group. I mean, it's weird because you can consider Jaden Daniels as like the third running back of this team. So I think there's always Brian Robinson could do well. Austin Eckler will catch passes out of the backfield. Each will have their games, but it's going to be probably more on the lower end of running backs, a bit more inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the role these two have always played, especially Brian Robinson. I love Brian Robinson as a player, but he's always like sort of lower end running back, or at least very under the radar.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think they're not great running backs by any means. Austin's a little bit older, and he's kind of shown to be on a little bit of decline. But if he's healthy, he's a fine flex player.
Yeah.
And I'd say the same about Brian. They kind of split the backfield. There is a rookie that's been raising names though that we don't have on here.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It's JCM Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. He's a little bit of an older prospect, rookie coming out of college, Arizona, and I think he was a 7th round pick, so very late. But in large part, that was because he didn't play last year at all. He, I believe, got an injury coming into the year and just kind of sat behind the running backs, but he's I don't know, having a stellar camp, I guess, and just looks really good. Before or in 2023 when he played, he was in college, he was a great player, very explosive. So, I mean, kind of an interesting guy to watch just because the current RB room is a little bit lackluster, in my opinion. Um, Definitely someone that could come in and maybe shake things up.
Yeah. I think it's important to note that both Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler are on the last year of their deals.
Hmm.
So there could be a chance going into next season, there could be a complete running back shakeup. And if that rookie doesn't work out, look out for the draft, possibly for next year's 2026. All right,
Yeah,
and let's speed
very
things
true.
up a little here. Let's talk about the final team, the New York Giants. Now, I want to talk about one player. There's one player I want to talk about more than any other. A fan favorite from college, Arizona State legend, absolute fun to watch Cam Scattaboo. This
Yeah.
dude is awesome. I love watching him play. I didn't watch a lot of the games, but I tried to watch as many highlights. I tried to watch as many snaps with him as I could because I was in love with the type of player that he is. He is not the fastest, he is not the strongest, he's not the biggest, but yet he feels like that when you go up against him.
Mm-hmm.
And there have been reports coming out that he is taking first team reps. So this is not a running back 1, running back 2. He has to work his way up. Right now, it's like a 1A, 1B situation that could evolve into him getting more of a role, especially since in some of these highlights, we're seeing him catch passes out of the backfield, which is a huge, huge thing in fantasy right now. That is a big on development. What are your thoughts of how good can Cam Scattaboo be in this offense?
Well, I think he could take over the offense.
Yeah,
Being honest, like
he could be the main guy.
he could be the main guy. Tyrone Tracy did fine last year. Okay. I think he broke out for what people projected him to do.
Yeah,
So he kind of took over later on in the season last year and started producing, but apparently his yards per carry weren't that great. He was getting a lot of attempts, and so that was helping his production. Just all the handoffs he was getting. So I don't know. I think I can see Cam coming out and just kind of taking over. Like his production in college was insane. It was
yeah.
it was on a similar level of Ashton Genty. Like
It
the
really
production that he
was.
was coming out with. Yeah.
And we talk about Ashton Genty's season being one of the best running back seasons out of college we've seen in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But Cam Scattaboo had, I wouldn't call him underrated because everybody was talking about him, but he also had a season that was nearly as big. And he kind of was the whole point of that team. The team,
Yeah.
I mean, in the game that they lost, he did everything for them. He
Mhm.
played quarterback, Jake. He played quarterback for them.
Yeah. He's like a huge receiving threat as well. So if they're using him in that, I can see him, definitely taking on that role at least in this offense.
Yeah.
And the big reason he just wasn't, one of the top guys in the draft, RB prospects, was because of his size. He's a bit of a smaller guy, but he's got that dog, bro.
He's got that. He's got that
He's
dog
totally
in him.
got that dog.
He's got that gas in him. He is 100% dog
Yeah.
because there's nothing statistically that like flies off the page.
Exactly.
And even his speed, he didn't run the 40-yard dash, but if he did, it would have been like the 4.7 range. Like he's not a fast guy at all.
Yeah.
But you can't tackle him.
No.
And if he can carry that into the NFL, he will at least be a fan favorite. He'll be fun to
Totally.
watch. He's
Yeah.
like a human bowling ball.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think we should count Tyrone Tracy out.
No.
Because I do like him. But I do think it's anyone's game. Unless they totally split the backfield, and I don't think the Giants have really been known to, you know, split, have like a split carry offense. They usually choose a guy who produces the most. So, we'll kind of see what happens, but
Yeah. I can see it. They're so diametrically opposed in terms of like styles that I can
Totally.
see them wanting to try to do both because they both offer something different.
Yeah, I could see it.
But yeah. Hey, Jake, want to hear a bombshell? Want to hear a
Yes.
bombshell? I think Cam Scadaboo, by the end of the season, is going to be in the top 15 of running backs. Bombshell. Boom.
Dang.
Another bombshell. Boom. You put that in there. Double bombshell.
That's
what
Hey.
I think of that.
I like that
And-
take. I like it.
And real quick, I know he's not the most interesting play in the world, but Wan'Dale Robinson, I've never seen a player that's like anti-yak as much as Wan'Dale Robinson. Dude, I had Malik Neighbors last season, so I had to watch a lot of games, including when Malik Neighbors went out. Wan'Dale got so many catches last season for so little yards.
Mhm.
It is insane. He did nothing with his catches. They were like, hold on. I have to look at the exact stats of Wan'Dale Robinson really quick because it was just insane. There's a chance he could get negative yards on his catches.
Yeah.
He made absolutely no progress. But while we're on that, we'll quickly move on to Malik Neighbors here, which looked, when he was healthy, he looked incredible. It just sucks that he didn't have a quarterback to really throw to him. If Russell Wilson or Jackson Dart is an improvement over what he had last season, expect him to be a top 10 wide receiver this season, possibly even a top 5 wide receiver.
Yeah. Yeah, he's great. Top tier rookie from last season. I think he end up top 10 wide receivers last season. He was top 10, right?
Should have. If not, then he got close.
Definitely.
He definitely had some injured weeks that kept him out. And there was like a bit of point in the middle of the season where he stagnated, where he had a lot of weeks of just like okay weeks, but he had some really good stuff at the end, so it probably propelled him up.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a legit WR1 to have.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can't say enough about him. He's a great player.
I just found this right here. Wan'Dale Robinson, he had 140 targets last season. 140
It's crazy.
for 93 receptions and 699 yards. That is just a point under 5 yards per catch. That is wild.
That is awesome.
How does that happen?
Dude, I don't know. How does it happen with Daniel Jones?
Why'd they keep getting the ball to him?
That's the question.
You have Darius Slayton. He's better than that. Darius Slayton, why are you still on this team? Why did you sign a deal back? They don't like you.
No, for real. No, I think they do like him, man.
Yeah,
That's
but
why
it
he's
feels
been
like
around.
every time they seem to want to not put him in the starting lineup so many times, and then he plays well enough to like begrudgingly put him in.
Every year he starts so low and then he makes his way to like the number 2 spot on the roster.
And then
year,
they decided to re-sign him on a 3-year, $36 million deal. I'm like, all right, Go get, go get that money if you can, but
Go get the money, bro.
know your worth. Make
Yeah.
them work for it. Make them beg for you.
Seriously.
Come on, man.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Do you think it's worth talking about the quarterbacks for this team with Russell Wilson or Jackson Dart? Do you see any like not immediate, or just like any general value in terms of this season?
Well, I mean, I've always been a fan of Russell Wilson. I think,
Yeah, both big Russell Wilson fans.
yeah, I mean, obviously, us being, big Seattle guys. I think Russell's a fine addition to any team. I think it's obvious that he's going to start out the year, and he's got Malik Neighbors. He's got, outside of that, he doesn't have much because Theo Johnson is a young tight end. He hasn't really proven himself too much.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a pretty young team outside of Russell Wilson. Well, we'll see what he could do. And Jackson Dart, man, he had a lot of promise coming out of college. Drafted 3rd QB overall, I think. Is that right?
He was the second.
Second.
It was like the 25th or the
Okay.
26th pick in the first round.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
And then it was Milrow.
No, it was Tyler Shuck? Show? Is it Show or Shuck?
Tyler Shuck.
Tyler Shuck. Ah, Shucks.
Okay, gotcha. Well,
All right.
yeah, anyways, I don't know. I haven't heard him doing too well in camp, though. I mean, I've heard that he hasn't been doing too well in camp, so like there's videos of him throwing interceptions, but this is just camp, so I think it's going to be one of those situations where he could just sit behind Russell and maybe be the guy later on. And Russell's not a bad guy to sit behind, so
It'll be tough. Go easy on him. He's a rookie.
yeah.
He'll probably get in at some point this season.
Yeah.
But this team is going to have a very tough schedule. They're supposedly one of the toughest schedules in the league this season. Brian Daboll, you got to pull something out of the bag or your job's on the line. And then we'll just have to see what happens from there. But as far as the NFC East goes, that is about it.
Yeah.
That's all we can cover on these 4 teams here today. The next video that we would do is talking about the NFC North. We've expanded our reach a little bit. We have an Instagram page. We have our podcast is out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Check us out on any of those platforms as you can. They'll be linked in the description below. Check out some of our other videos that we've done on the AFC already.
Yeah.
We're going to have more with the NFC coming up, and then we're going to fall more into a consistent schedule as football is starting to come back.
Yeah. This is our 4th episode. So
this would be number 5.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. The big 5.
Number 5.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
All right.
But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Anyone who is, hope this helps kind of shape, some thoughts for people you might want to pick up fantasy wise. But yeah, this has been fun. This is a good little episode.
All right. Tune in next time. Stay simple, my folks. Stay simple. We'll try a new catchphrase every time. Maybe we'll find one that sticks. All right. All right, Jake, just be really quiet. The recording's over, so if we just be real quiet, nobody will know. We're just don't talk over this, okay?
Okay, my bad. All right.